Welcome to Cluster Reloading Supply. On this video, we're actually going to be going over some fully processed load-ready brass. I went ahead and purchased 250 units of 223-556 mix that has been fully processed, deprime. In this case, not swage, but the crimp has been removed, has been machined off. This brass is ready to load, so looking through YouTube, I was not able to find a specific video going over fully processed load-ready brass. A lot of them are very genetic, nothing to do with like the specifics, any defects, any problems with the dimensions, so on and so forth. So I kind of wanted to provide some insight as to like the actual condition, as is condition of this brass once you receive it. So once again, this lot is 250 units. The supplier shipped me 263, so that's 5 stars for as far as like quantity. However, I did come across a couple problems and concerns. Might be personal because of the standards that I have as far as like processing brass. So yeah, the cleanliness it's okay. Nothing to rave about. Looks like they tumbled it with corncob media. You are gonna find the primer section very dirty. So dirty doesn't mean it's gonna perform any worse than something that would be clean. Just that I just like clean stuff, so that's just the basics of it. Yeah, they could have done a probably better job at providing better quality on the cleanliness, but that just might be my own opinion. So, but yeah, this is some of the brass 250 units that I received. Like I said, not 250, 263 that the supplier shipped me. I would have expected a little bit cleaner. I did pay $39 plus shipment, etc., etc. I will put a picture as far as like how much everything cost me. The purpose is not to belittle or talk trash to suppliers. I just wanted to provide an actual review of fully processed load-ready brass, since once again I was not able to find one specifically in YouTube. So hopefully this helps some of you guys that are looking to purchase brass from companies like mine, Cluster Reloading. There are plenty of other companies that you can purchase them from. This one particular company not only processes brass, but they also machine components to gauges to verify your brass as you're processing it, make sure that the switch is good to go, make sure that the dimensions are good to go, so on and so forth. So I had maybe higher hopes of this company based on that. So the cleanliness, like I said, it is decent. It is good enough. Probably could have done a little bit better. As far as the condition of the brass, it is going to have your typical cosmetic defects that you're going to see on the brass. I did find some that were like a little bit beyond that, so I'm going to talk about it and discuss. Once again, you're paying top money for your ready-to-load brass, then you should be getting actual ready-to-load brass and not having to go through every single one of them, check for defects either on the neck or cylinder portion. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the specifics. All right, so I got a generic sample here. I kind of pulled like 10% of the lot, about 30 rounds, then kind of check them, then check them for length, check them against the Ellie Wilson gauge. Wanted to use something that most people use at home and that can reference. So yep, got my calipers for the overall length, got my Wilson gauge. I also have a dial indicator to actually check the depth of the fully processed brass. A lot of the videos that I saw, it's just a random dude going like, oh yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, this is good. Okay, but like, how good is it? Is it, bumped to like flush? Is it bumped to -5? Is it bumped beyond the -5, which Ellie Wilson and other people will not suggest to use? Like, as far as like AR platform weapons, then you can definitely choose something that would measure at a -6, -7. I particularly don't use anything beyond -7 because that's kind of like stretching the limits of the functionality of the weapon. So I try to keep everything between the steps, which is going to be 0 and -5. If you purchase any brass from cluster reloading, then you will find it that it will meet that specification. Every now and then you'll see one at -6, -7. However, like the majority of them, 90%, 99% of them are going to be within this range. This in particular, I did find a lot of these that had major imperfections. I would personally never really use something like this. You see the big ding here and a couple down here. Functionality wise, I'm not willing to take the risk to damage my weapon, damage myself, safety first. So if I ever come across some of these while I'm processing my brass, I just toss them in the trash. If they're a particular brand like LC, Lake City Brass, WMA, Winchester Military Munitions, something else that I can process into like a 300 blackout, machine the defect off, resize it to conforming SAMI standards, then I will go ahead and save it and repurpose it for that. Otherwise, this will be going in the trash. I don't really sell anything I would not use myself, so we pride ourselves into that quality standard, and we're going to stick to it. Even though sometimes it might mean shady suppliers that might send us a lot of defective product, that just means we're going to take an L, we're going to take a loss, and we're going to protect our customers, protect safety first. So yeah, found multiple units in this condition, which is not desirable. As far as like the primary area, every single one of this is machined off. In cluster supply, we'd rather displace the material than remove any material. So swaging is just opening up the crimp section back to dimension where you can insert your primer once again without damaging the primer or the brass. So this company in particular, they just decided to go ahead and machine off, which is an acceptable option, but I would rather not remove any material from the product to not affect fit, form, or function. So the other thing that I was a little bit I don't want to say not happy about, but disappointed, is that a lot of these were out around right here. Like you can see this one in particular. You can really tell the flat spot right there. So I don't know if the resizing dies that they're using, the expander, it's no longer working. They might be machining it afterwards, machining it beforehand. I don't know what kind of process this company is particularly using to process brass, to fully process brass. However, I did notice a lot of defects about that. So either burrs like in this one, or just not fully round necks. So I was pretty let down about that, because I would not go ahead and load this. I would resize it once again, make sure it's ready to go. This one here in particular, I don't know if that is a crack or something else, but I would definitely toss this one out and not use it, or once again repurpose it to 300 blackout if possible. So yeah, overall length, it varies. The lot that I got of 263 units, it varies from I believe the shortest one that I measured with the calipers was at 1741. The longest one was at 1753. So in cluster, we provide our dimensions. We try to stick within the dimensions of 1745 to 1753, more or less. So you would hardly, and I say hardly because every now and then one will get into the mix, but majority of the time you will not find a brass that measures below 745, 1.745. So 17445, 1754. I'll take it back because the longest one is 1.754. 1754. 1751. So yeah, quite a bit of inspection on these parts that I would like to avoid if I'm paying top dollar to make sure that I get a good product. As far as like the cleanliness, once again, it looks like they use corn cob media, which is widely used in the industry. Cluster would like to wet tumbler brass to kind of provide that brand new mirror finish product. You can even see on the inside all the fouling, all the crud, etc. has been removed by the good old stainless steel pins. Yeah, they're a little bit pain in the butt to deal with, but definitely worth the end product. With this, you can still see a lot of dirt, grime on the inside of the cases. Definitely on the primer pocket section. Could have done a lot better job cleaning it and providing a better product to their customers. Now, as far as like the LA Wilson gauge, I did find, I want to say, about 80% of the lot to be at -5, which is like the maximum you can bump it down to. Like this one right here. Oh, it looks like this one. It's one of the ones that I found above. It's probably measuring to like a +1, +2 over the top of the gauge. This one right here as well. I just saved a couple of the worst case conditions to show in this video. This one is way below. Like you can see, you can definitely see that step on the side if I turn it sideways. So some of these I measure up to like -15 thousandths, which is once again something I would never use on my own personal equipment. I don't want to test it out and find out just to blow up my gun, hurt myself. So something like this is probably going to go in the trash. We're going to actually take a look at the dial indicator and then zero it out on top, and then actually make sure the product at the end. When I take my measurement, I take it on the flat spots here and here. I don't really go into the letters because the indentations displays the material, and then they kind of lead to like some funky measurements. So in order to get the most accurate measurement, you want to use the flat spots where you don't have any stamps or labeling. All right, we got our indicator set up, ready to go at 0. Once again, they recommend you resize your brass right in between these two steps, which is going to be the max at 0 or the minimum at -5. Anything beyond 0 at a +1, +2, +3 and above is probably going to lead to jam brass when you're trying to load, going into battery, etc. Good luck trying to take it out. You're gonna have to struggle a lot to remove that piece of brass once it gets stuck in your chamber. Anything on towards the negative side, then it's probably gonna work fine. And I mentioned before, even if you go to like a -7 on the AR platforms, per my previous experience, it'll work just fine. Anything beyond -7, I haven't tested. I'm not really looking to test it. I already know the limits. I want to stick within those limits. Regretfully, I do not have a bolt action rifle. I know, not full-on American, shame on myself. I'm trying to get one this year, so the goal for this year to get me a bolt action rifle and kind of test out my product on that platform. In the meantime, processed brass, I do fully recommend it for like any AR platform based weapons. Going to the range, squeeze a couple hundred rounds, nothing crazy. You want to get into precision shooting, then you'll be tightening your tolerances and most likely using the same brand brass, the same lengths, the same heights, the same depths, so on and so forth. So for any AR platform you want to go have fun with your buddies, your family, then definitely this is the product to use. All right, so let's take a look at some of these components. This one right here, as I mentioned before, man, it's way below that step. So this one we're measuring at -14.5, almost -15. This one seems to be just fine, probably like a -4, -5. Yep, there we go. So -3.5, -4. So this is one of the ones that I think was either flush or above flush. So Oh, -4. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So on this one, you're teetering towards a +2. So in my humble opinion, this would need to be resized to get it up to flush, or -4, -5. I did come across several of those. The majority of them were just like heavily resized and going into like -10, -12, -15. This is another bad boy here. So you're talking about -12. There we go, another -13. They're all beyond 8. I'm just trying to show you the worst case scenario ones. I did have a couple that were like above that 0 step. There we go. That's another +2 that would ideally need to be resized. So to recap, not bad brass, not great either. Cleanliness would definitely need to be improved. The resizing dimensions will definitely need to improve. I'm probably removing a lot of these, the majority of these, because they're beyond -7. So yep, resizing a couple of these, throwing a couple of them away in the trash because of the cosmetic defects that are kind of like mechanical defects at this point. There's not so much cosmetic. Cosmetic is just something that's like, it's like blemish, something like that. Mechanical is like you got definitely a dent or a deformity on the brass. So hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. And I will keep doing this. I do have some 300 blackout on order. So once I receive it, I will do a video for like the 300 blackout. This was specifically for 223, 556, order of 250 piece units. Got any questions, comments, please leave them below. Make sure to hit the like button if you like the content. If you want to see any other inspections for the brass be performed, any other topics covered in the channel, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. All right, have a great one. See you next time.